Last time on Another, we met Kouichi Sakakibara, who just transferred to Yomiyama Middle School. It doesn't take long for him to realize that talking to this ignored girl Mei is not the most popular thing to do. It's because ignoring Mei is the only thing stopping random people dying in random ways. But tough luck on that one. This is all explained in the previous video, so make sure you check that one out in the eye above. Otherwise, we will answer all the unanswered questions in this episode and finish the Another anime. If you want to see what happens, including all the messed up parts, stay tuned for the breakdown. If you recall in episode 4, the nurse who was best buddies with Kouichi died, and the class is still feeling fear as they realize that people are dying in Yomiyama. Finally, Kouichi sees the connection too, but Izumi Akizawa, the head of countermeasures, has a countermeasure that Kouichi isn't ready for. The entire class is dismissed at one point to take part in a new plan to prevent a calamity from happening. When one of Kouichi's friends, the one with the heart problem, dies of a heart attack, that new countermeasure is definitely a go-to. I mean, just look at him on the ground dying. Next morning, Miss Mikami ignores Kouichi, including many other students. It's a new rule now to ignore Kouichi and Mei Misaki as if they don't exist. Well, now Mei and Kouichi are kindred spirits. He's happy that she truly exists, and she's happy that she's not all the way alone. So let me just explain why the class is ignoring Mei and Kouichi. 26 years ago, Class 3 had a student who died named Misaki Yomiyama, but the rest of his classmates pretended as if he was still alive. For some weird reason, this caused a shift in the connection between the living world and the underworld. In every subsequent Class 3 after the death of Misaki Yomiyama, there exists one student or faculty member who is actually dead or a ghost, but they don't know it. Then you would ask, well, wouldn't they just know who has already died? Actually, no. This weird phenomenon not only brings back the dead in Class 3, but also makes everybody in Yomiyama forget about the person who had died, as if they never died in the first place. The phenomenon even has the power to change records. So, the presence of an extra student who is actually dead causes a final destination type curse in which random people connected to Class 3 die in horrific ways. The way that you can stop people from dying is by pretending one real student doesn't exist, so that the extra dead student, whoever that may be, is counted regularly as if it's an even class. Well, that student who is treated to not exist was chosen to be Mei Misaki, but Kouichi messed it up by talking with her. So, the new class rule is to treat them both like they don't exist to strengthen this little charm and stop more deaths from happening. So this just leaves more room for Mei and Kouichi to bond, like dancing crazy and completely out of character in class while not existing. This is just Kouichi having fantasies about his little girlfriend here in class. The next day at class, things are crazy. It practically is single-handedly the reason we made videos on Another. The main teacher of the class comes to school like a zombie one day. He comes in class and slams his bag on the desk. "Good morning, class," he says, before apologizing to them and speaking nonsense. He grabs a big-ass knife out of his bag and inches it towards his throat. The animation is kinda different during this part, but he stabs himself in the neck, squirting blood all over the students, choking on his own blood. This scene bothers me because I practically have a phobia of obstructing breathing. I love breathing. He's over here really scarring these kids and destroying his throat at the same time. He lets blood flow all out of his neck before falling down. That's the most disturbing moment right there. Good lord. The teacher killed his sick mother first before killing himself. Why couldn't you just do that shit at home? You have to come to school and scar a bunch of 9th graders? The fact that the teacher killed himself means that pretending that Kouichi and Mei don't exist doesn't work. There is a way to stop this calamity though. 15 years ago, when Kouichi's aunt was in school, there also was a calamity. Also, I apologize, I called her his sister in the previous video. That's kinda a compliment, I guess. 15 years ago, the calamity stopped mid-year after class 3 of that year visited the Yomiyama Shrine on Mount Yomiyama. The new main teacher, Miss Mikami, figures that we need to take this class trip as well. Kouichi's starting to feel guilty now though. He has nightmares where people melt, a guilt dream that resembles Junji Ito style. So anyway, they are planning on doing that same class trip to stop the calamity. But the phenomenon has taken away the memories of Kouichi's aunt from revealing what really happened on that class trip 15 years ago. Soon, all the main friends leave Yomiyama to chill at the beach. The anxiety during the car ride there is heavy, but they make it out safe. See, once you leave Yomiyama, the curse of death doesn't apply. They go to the beach, which gives me heavy Persona 3 vibes. And look, May's here too. She didn't come with the group, but she's just on a trip with her family. The group all decide to cook their own little fishy meal the best they possibly can. This guy here is a classmate of Kouichi's aunt, but he's very important. Remember, 15 years ago, the calamity ended early, and it's all because of him. However, he has totally forgot what he did because of that phenomenon, right? The only thing he remembers is that he hid a tape recording of the steps in the old classroom. Suddenly, strong winds push a beach ball away. This student named Junta goes to retrieve the ball and swims pretty far out. However, suddenly the class sees he has stopped moving, and then a boat comes out of nowhere towards him. The boat supposedly kills Junta by hitting his head and ripping up and contorting his body. This makes it look like the curse has extended past Yomiyama. Kouichi and the gang better get to that classroom and figure out what to do. So the police investigate Junta's death, and it turns out that Junta was gonna die whether he went to the beach or not. That night, before leaving on the trip, he hit his head on the stairs. This gave him a brain aneurysm, which caused motion sickness. While he was swimming out towards the ball, his brain aneurysm burst, instantly killing him before the boat ripped apart his body. So yeah, the curse, it only seems to attempt killing in Yomiyama. If it can't kill you outside, then it will make the conditions for you to die outside. A team that includes Kouichi, Mei, Naoya, who I call Jock, and Yuya search for the tape recording that has the steps to stop the calamity. That tape recording is in the old class 3 upstairs, inside of an old shelf. That tape was recorded by this guy, remember? He stopped the calamity 15 years ago. His class went on that class trip to the shrine. He explains on the tape that after praying at the shrine, storms filled the skies. One guy literally gets struck by lightning. A girl trips and falls down the mountain. Damn, this anime would make an excellent kill count. Right before the guy on the tape says what he did to stop the calamity, the teacher comes in and they got a Metal Gear and hide. Whatever it is at the end of that tape, they need to hurry and listen. One girl and her entire family is killed running away from Yomiyama. A rock hits the windshield and they drive off a cliff. I think that was the girl that had a little crush on Kouichi. This girl, remember? Another girl finds out that her brother has been brutally crushed by a runaway construction vehicle. This is probably the craziest calamity ever. All the students are then taken on that class trip. They stay at the bottom of the mountain in this extravagant building. Once they get to their rooms, they listen to the tape and find out how to stop the calamity. See, 15 years ago, the guy had gotten into a fight with a classmate. This fight accidentally ended in his classmate dying by being impaled on a branch. This is the sin he mentions on the tape. He killed someone on accident, but nobody discovers the body. When he looked for the body later, it disappeared. When he asked the classmates where his classmate is, they didn't even know who that classmate was. So he killed the extra student by coincidence, and it is him, only him, that remembers and made sure to record his thoughts before the higher powers made him forget. That's how you stop this final destination shit from happening. Kill the extra dead student. But like I said earlier, they won't remember who has already died, so they have to figure it out their own way. Then there is the big question if they can kill someone for the sake of everyone else, even if that person is already dead. Soon, the class all converge for one big dinner meeting. Akazawa gets up to make a speech about the recent events and then blames Mei for not being non-existent good enough. I'd blame Kouichi honestly, but good looking out standing up for your homegirl. She asks him to come to her room later on. Now like that, y'all, she just wants to tell him her origin story, that's all. We've been throwing around this name Misaki a lot. It should just be treated as a common name in this story. Mei Misaki. Turns out her cousin that died that she went to go visit in the beginning is actually her twin sister. Misaki, the sister, died as a result of that little curse, right? But she did not want to believe that her other half would die from something like that. Mei is special in that her doll eye can tell that people are dead or not. So in other words, if she takes off her eye patch, then she can see who the extra student is. Well, turns out she already knows who it is. Right before she tells him, Naoya here comes in saying that he fucked up bad. He has accidentally killed someone in a fight. When they go check it out, someone grabs Kouichi. He's been stabbed many times by someone. In fact, the whole dining room is on fire. Manager completely murdered and brutalized. Looks like a killer is on the loose. I would say let's get ready for a class trial, but this is an ongoing threat. The paranoia of the calamity has taken control of the students, including Takako here, who commands the entire class to go against Mei Misaki. They believe she is the extra student. Also, they know about the recording tape, so that's why they are hunting her. This hectic classmate almost murders Miss Mikami with a hit to the head that was meant for Misaki. Nonetheless, they band together and knock all the bloodthirsty girls out of the way. Mei and Kouichi hide in the stairwell as some poor sap takes the brunt of an explosion from the kitchen. They couldn't hide from Takako for long, who stabs Kouichi, but Mei maneuvers quickly and the calamity claims itself another victim. Takako gets stuck in some wires and suffocates painfully in front of our main students. Mei picks up her weapon, but Akazawa sees it thinking that Mei is hostile. Seeing all this chaos, Mei asks whether killing the extra student will stop all of it, before running away from Kouichi. Kouichi goes looking for her, but gets into conflict with Kazami, who murders a girl right in front of him. This is the guy that Naoya almost killed. He thinks the extra student is Kouichi and rushes towards him. It's not too long before he gets knocked the fuck out by Akazawa though, Negan level hit. Akazawa runs away to find Mei, and soon we see that they are about to duel it out. It's only a miracle that Mei isn't dead yet, but she does get knocked the mess out. You can see her fold come off right there. Mei, she sees death in Akazawa, because she's fucking dead now. A lightning strike destroys the window above, causing shards of glass to impale Akazawa to the wall. Before dying, she finally remembers a memory that was suppressed by the phenomenon. When she first met Kouichi in the hospital, she kept thinking that she met him before, but couldn't remember. Well, she did, right after the death of her brother. Kouichi had just moved to town and confided in her that day. He said he lost someone close too. Seems like he lost someone pretty recent though, so who died for you, Kouichi? Akazawa dies, telling him about their first encounter. Kouichi chases for Mei, who has finally found where the extra student is. She knew who it was for a while, and turns out that the extra student, or faculty member, is Miss Mikami. I predicted this like in episode 4. This isn't the weird part though. The weird part is that Miss Mikami is actually Kouichi's aunt. I just call her his aunt, but her name is Reiko. Somehow, Kouichi had a mental block that prevented him from realizing that his aunt was also his assistant teacher here. Nobody knew this. So Kouichi's aunt here is the teacher, Miss Mikami here. It's confusing for me too. The thing is though that Misaki knew that Miss Mikami was the extra student / faculty member for a while, because her doll eye could see the death in a person and she saw it all over Miss Mikami, aka Kouichi's aunt. Upon realizing it, she secondly realizes that she witnessed Miss Mikami get murdered prior to the school year. Her body dumped in the dam we saw a while ago. So they must kill her to stop the calamity. She's already dead, she just needs to realize it. Kouichi takes it upon himself to kill Miss Mikami like it's his responsibility. He remembers that his aunt, Reiko, or Miss Mikami, has died. The phenomenon affects him no more, and he then kills Miss Mikami, aka his aunt, sending her back to the afterlife. The calamity is finally over, I guess. It's time for a new beginning. One aided by Kouichi and Mei, who are going to be good friends. Naoya and Yuya make sure to record a tape telling the next class 3 what they should do in case of a calamity. The end. So, Mei, you knew who the extra student was for a while and you don't think that should be told to anybody? My thing is, Mei should have spat that out, that she knew that the extra student who it was, because this so-called calamity claimed way too many people to the point that the calamity was finished before they killed Miss Mikami. She didn't tell Kouichi because she didn't want him to be sad, but I mean, she already died. He already got through with it, and that's basically it for another. I noticed that they really just stopped this year's calamity. They didn't stop all calamities, but at least Mei could use her doll eye to help other classes perhaps. Now, let's talk about the most disturbed moment and most enjoyed moment, and that's spooky stuff. The most disturbed moment is without a doubt the suicide of the teacher. The animation is actually seen different during it compared to the rest of the series. Not to mention it's bloody, long, and very memorable. Most enjoyed moment is that the students all went to the mansion that was the setting of Resident Evil 1. So there's no wonder that so many people died. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed the another anime series. If you got any suggestions for the next anime series, just send me a DM or an email. I'll note all of them. Thanks for watching. Spooky out.